So if the only thing you've been looking forward to in life has been going to sleep at the end of the day, here's what I want to ask you. What is the desire? What is the want? What is that desire for the kind of life that you want? The kind of partnership that you want that you don't think you're going to get? I think first and foremost, you have to be honest with that. Now, listen, regardless of whether or not that want or desire is going to turn into reality, whether or not you're going to get it or not, that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is being an active participant in life rather than a passive observer. And if this is you right now, please know that I have a lot of sympathy for that. I have a lot of sympathy because I've been there. I've absolutely been there where there was a certain sense of resignation to life that had already set in. Certain sense of helplessness, certain sense of feeling that what I want within me, my true desire, is not possible. So why even bother, right? Why even bother? And so the only thing that seems pleasurable is being unconscious for about 8 hours a night. And please know that if this is you right now, it's okay. It's okay. It could be a phase, right? And it's okay to go through that phase. I don't want there to be any sort of judgment about the phase that you're going through. We go through phases in life, and we have to absolutely acknowledge and respect the phases that we go through in life. Non-negotiable. It cannot come with self-hatred. It cannot come with judgment of your experience. We go through what we go through. So what? But what I'm saying is, if this is you, the way out of that could just be first step, right? This is just the first step. The way out of that could be just asking yourself, what is it that I'm not saying? What is it that I'm not willing to acknowledge within me? What is that desire or want or need within me that I don't think I'm going to get, that I don't think it's going to happen for me? I think first and foremost, be aware of that, acknowledge it. And second step, this is the hard part. This is the hard part. You gotta go after it. You have to go after it. And you know what? It's not a guarantee that you're gonna get it. Nothing in life is a guarantee, unfortunately. I wish I could sit here and be all positive and say, you're gonna get everything in life. And that is absolutely not realistic. And anybody who tells you that is selling you an idea, and run away. Run away as fast as you can. Because the truth of life is you're not going to get everything in life. But here's the thing. You can't stop trying. You cannot not go after something by prematurely deciding that you're not going to get it. And that's the hardest part. That is the hardest part. Going after something, knowing very well that you could be disappointed, that you could face rejection. And yeah, that is going to hurt. That is absolutely going to hurt. I've been there. I've been there where certain disappointments have hurt so badly that I didn't want to play the game anymore. But it's not an option to not play the game. The anxiety, the hurt, the disappointment, the sadness that comes from going after what you want and not getting it pales in comparison to the sadness, the anxiety that comes from resigning from life, that comes from being a passive observer in life. And here's what Carl Jung said. Carl Jung was this brilliant psychologist. He's a very well-known name in pop psychology. But if you're not aware of who he is, Google him, look him up, read everything about him. Here's what he said. The anxiety that comes from playing the game of life is almost functional anxiety. The anxiety that comes from being a passive observer of life is the kind of anxiety that doesn't make any sense. It's the kind of anxiety that you can't find your way out of. It's the kind of anxiety that becomes fear and becomes so big that after a certain point, you just don't even know what you're anxious about. You don't even know what you're afraid of. You just know that you're anxious. You just know that you're afraid. And the third step is just know that when you go after what you want, when you play, quote unquote, play this game of life, even though you might not get exactly what you want, something good is going to come out of it. That seems to be the law of this universe. Something good is always going to come out of playing the game of life. And so once again, if this has been your life, where the only thing you've looked forward to is going to sleep, getting some sleep at the end of the night, checking out for about 8 hours, right? Just checking out for about 8 hours. That's the only thing you've been looking forward to. First of all, please know that there's no judgment with that experience. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean you're behind in life. It doesn't mean somehow you're never going to catch up. No, that's just a phase of life that you're going through. And know that the first step, just the first step, is to acknowledge, to really sit with yourself and be honest with yourself about, is this the life that I dreamt of? And of course, to a certain point, we do have to be realistic with ourselves, right? But to really sit with yourself and ask, is this the life that I dreamt of? And if the answer is no, where do you start? Where do you start to make changes? While keeping in mind that you might not get exactly what you want, but at least you're going to be playing the game of life. At least you're going to be participating in the game of life, and you're not sitting in the sidelines observing life as it goes by.